Hello, my name is Barry Walsh, owner of Buffalo Barry's Indian Art, along with my wife Valerie, and my daughter Anna is shooting this video as part of a series. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite Hopi Katsina carvers, James Koots, better known as Jimmy Koots. He had great artistic range as a carver, and frankly, I consider him to be one of the greatest comic carvers of all time, perhaps the greatest. As an example of a comic carving from Jimmy, here is a Kokopolo and a Kokopolomana, and they're involved in some sort of raunching wrestling match. He often did some carvings with sexual innuendo. Here's another comic carving, a Haheya, who's gesticulating wildly. What's this about? Not really sure, but it's certainly comical to look at. Also of interest is he did very serious carvings. Here is an example of a Sotuknong, or Heart of the Cosmos by Jimmy, centrally important figure in Hopi religion, not to be treated with any sort of comedy, and this is one with solemnity and dignity. A little bit about Koots's background. He was born in Haute-Villa on 3rd Mesa in 1916 and lived until 1996. At age 5, he went off to school one day and was essentially kidnapped by the U.S. government, who sent him to school at the Sherman Institute in Riverside, California. That was a common practice on Hopi land and other Native American reservations to forcibly take children and submit them to an effort of acculturation out of their homes, off reservations, in order to turn them into good white citizens. Koots said that after his tenure at this school, he learned that the most important thing was to make money. And he integrated that value from Anglo society. And after his schooling, he joined the armed services, served in the Philippines, and after that went to Chicago, where he started his family and worked as an auto mechanic and a welder. But as happens so often with Hopi people who live off reservations, he experienced a yearning to go back to his roots and be part of Hopi society. So he and the family went back to Haute-Villa, where he spent the rest of his days. And when he arrived, he discovered something very important. The U.S. government was attempting to exploit Hopi resources in the area of petroleum, gas, and coal, and he was offended by that, in part because of his own experience of having been dealt with by the U.S. government coercively. So he started a newsletter called Techwa Ikachi, excuse my Hopi pronunciation, which he published from 1975 to 1990. He was a major advocate for Hopi traditionalism and sovereignty, and in fact, quite remarkably, met with representatives of the United Nations 4 times. I was told that by Dennis Koots, his son. What happened also, though, was beyond being an important advocate on Hopi politically, he became extremely well known in Santa Fe for a completely different side of his talent. And that was he became one of the great Hopi Katsina carvers. And I mentioned before that he is one of the great comic carvers of all time. This might be my favorite piece of his in a comic vein. It looks like a totally useless piece of twisted cottonwood root, but what he's done on it, as you'll see in the photographs, he's depicted down here a skunk, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Suku clowns who are clambering up the tree trying to avoid the effect of the skunk. That's the kind of genius he had as a comic carver. I showed you this Haheya as an example of a comic carver before. Here's a really sweet little vignette by Jimmy These are Kahala or hunter Kutsinum in a configuration, and in the middle of them is a Koyala or a Koshari Kutsina pounding on a bundle, singing a song as part of the Kahala Kutsina ceremony. Exceptional detail on this sweet little piece, even though it's only about 5 inches tall. Here's another exceptional carving by Jimmy. It's a Kuyamsi or mudhead carrying a stack of blue piki bread. And piki bread is used in many Hopi ceremonies and is a foundation of life since it's made of corn. So overall, Jimmy Koots deserves to be considered in the pantheon of the greatest Hopi Kutsina carvers. He was an artist of considerable range, from the serious and solemn to the hilarious. He's featured in our book on the great tradition of Hopi Kutsina carvings, as well he should be. And thank you for listening.